Welcome to Cablecast Broadcast Automation. In this video, we will go over all the basics of creating show records for digital files and live programs on your video server. Let's get started. The fundamental building block of the Cablecast scheduling workflow is the show record. This means that every file or event you schedule on your channel needs to be assigned to a show record before it can be played back. You will create show records for both live events you wish to schedule and pre-recorded files stored on your server. We'll begin by creating a show record for files stored on your server. Note that your video server's file library is its e-content drive. Any file that you want to play on your server should be stored there. When you add a new file to the e-drive, Cablecast will recognize it and start the validation process to ensure that your new file is supported. Once validated, the file will show up as an orphan file in the Digital File Management section of your user interface. Navigate to your orphan files by clicking on Orphaned under the Digital Files section in the server status bar on the main menu. You can also click on Digital Files in the menu bar on the left and then select the Orphan tab. Here you will find all of your files that have not been assigned a show record. To create a show record for an orphan file, click on your desired file to open the file details. You will see 4 action buttons above the details window. From there, click on New Show. This will create a show ID number for that show and take you to the show record screen where you will enter all of the information about this show. You'll notice that all the required fields in the show record, which are title, CG title, format, and length, are already filled in. You can change the titles, but you won't be able to save the show record if the title fields are left blank. You will see that there are 2 different titles at the top. The first title field is only seen internally. This field is where you might include helpful identifiers such as episode or season numbers, as well as abbreviations or acronyms. The CG title is a public title that will appear on your public site or in cable display bulletins and carousel. The local ID field is a non-required field that provides an added level of internal cataloging. You also use the projects field to group similar shows together, such as the current year's city council meetings, football games, or orchestra concerts. The real section of the show record is where we set the length, format, and thumbnail image for a file. Since we created the show from a file that was already on the video server, Cablecast has already detected the format and filled it in. The length is also already filled in based on the true run time of the file, but the in and out points can be adjusted to trim the beginning and end. This is helpful if you need to trim off color bars or some other unwanted segment from a file. The bibliographic info is where details about the program, such as event date, category, and comments will live. The more fields you populate in each show record, the more precise your show searches can be in the future. You can also use Show Producer to track the content contributor activity. The comments field is typically used to provide a short description of the show. Cablecast has the ability to do simple graphic text overlays for played-back programming on your system. We can specify the text for the overlays in the DSK settings section of the show record. When DSK settings are done at the show record level, they will display every time that particular show airs. How to set DSK text for a particular time slot regardless of which show is playing will be demonstrated in the video overlays tutorial. The last 2 fields will only appear if you have a live streaming server or a video on demand server configured for your system. If you live stream your channel, Cablecast streams all the content played back on your channel unless you designate it as exempt. For any show you do not want to live stream, simply click the Live Streaming Exempt box in the show record. Video on demand behaves in the opposite way, meaning you check the VOD enabled box when you do want the file to be available on demand. Cablecast will not encode that program for on-demand playback if the box is not checked. Once you have everything filled out in the show record, click the Save button at the bottom of the screen. Once the show record is saved, you can call it back up by navigating to the Shows menu on the left and then select Show Search. Creating show records for live programming follows a lot of the same steps, but it is slightly different. First, we will navigate to the Shows menu and then select New Show. This will give us a blank show record to work from. Fill out all of your information about your show, as we did with our Orphan file. The difference will be what we do in the Reel section. For our format, we will need to select the format for the live source we want to switch to. Once the format is selected, our thumbnail will change to an antenna. Next, we will need to set the length of the live show. When finished filling out the rest of your show record, click Save at the bottom. These are the basics of creating show records in Cablecast. To learn how to schedule our newly created shows on your channel, check out the rest of this video series and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.